What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first edition of Inside the Huddle. Actually, believe it or not, Inside the Huddle was my football YouTube channel that I made one video on, and then I forgot the password login because I was actually going to do something like this on that channel. I never wanted to insinuate football onto this channel because of the fact that, hey, I've made baseball videos here for years, but guess what? I'm going to do it now because I really want to start doing week pick'ems with my boy, as always, who's some baseball banter. My brother from another mother, kid with the golden.
What's going on, John?
Man, like you can't hear me or something? I mean, what the hell is going on here, buddy?
It's zoned out for a split second, but we're good. I'm here. We're back. Let's do it.
Because we're about to talk about football, you got to be, you are a Giants fan and all, not the smartest batch of fans, that's for sure. But we're double dipping, Mikey boy. We do baseball banter last night. Now we got a new podcast, Inside the Huddle. By the way, what do you think of the name? I never asked you that.
It had to have been used before. It's too good not to have been used. This is not original.
No,
Stole from somewhere. Where's the attribution?
I'm always original, Mike. Like, nothing I've ever done is not original. So,
Fair enough.
Being a hater, son. All right, so we're going to begin this. This isn't going to be, like, super analysis and blah, blah, blah. We're going to talk a little bit of football. But basically, we're going to give our Week 4 picks and maybe a little explanation why we're giving our picks. So, we're starting out with the first game of the week. It is Giants and Redskins at Redskins. And who's your pick, Mikey boy? Thursday Night Football tomorrow night.
Well, I think this was a very tough game to decide on, to be honest with you. I mean, I think both teams have their issues. It's a pretty important game for both teams. I mean, obviously starting 1-3 on the year wouldn't be good. But given the fact that it's in FedEx Field, is that what they still call it in Washington? I don't know. But I'm gonna go with the Redskins over New York.
Honestly, I don't know what they're calling anything in Washington anymore because they're like they won't use the term Redskins in the papers, and certain broadcasters only call them Washington, and it's like, they're the Redskins. Jesus Christ, But you said you're going Washington.
Yeah, I still think the Giants' offensive issues isn't in the Week 4 game. I know they put 30 up on Houston, but I still don't have a lot of confidence with their offense, and I need to see more consistency. So I'm going with Washington, and I like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I am going to agree with you, Mikey boy. As much as I hate the Giants, this did not affect my opinion whatsoever. The Redskins, when they had RG3 in the helm, I was watching a statistic on NFL Network this morning, like he had in 13 drives, like 300 and some yards and one touchdown. Kirk Cousins in like 30 has like almost like 800 yards. Last week alone, he dropped 440 with 3 touchdowns. Had an interception towards the end of the game, whatever. But when I watched that first game of the year when RG3 was at the helm for a whole game, and they had one drive where they looked decent. And that was only because Alfred Morris had a 50-yard run in that drive. And they just looked like a completely different team when RG3 is at the helm. And it's almost like, RG3 is always trying to scramble. He's not a great not a great pocket quarterback. And, he looked kind of – I mean, he didn't even really have any kind of training camp this year because he was nursing that injury, so he really didn't have, any preseason games. So, I mean, he was playing kind of catch-up. I get that. But, as soon as Kirk Cousins was inserted as a quarterback, I mean, look at last year when they took RG3 out for Kirk Cousins. Their offense looked instantaneously better. And, I mean, last week where Cousins got a whole week first-string snaps, he got to start a game, that offense looked tremendously different. I mean, you're going against a Philly team that scores a lot of runs. And, God, we're talking –
It's not baseball.
I bet. That scores a lot of points, with that great offense. And Cousins was matching Nick Foles, who, by the way, man, he's a great-looking young quarterback. He matched Nick Foles pretty much pass for pass, TD for TD, and they almost stole that game from Philly. So I have to go with Washington, just simply for the fact that I need to start Deshaun Jackson because I need him on my fantasy squad for tomorrow because I need some points out of him. They look a whole lot better with Cousins at the helm, and I think that offense works a lot better in general with Kirk Cousins at the helm, So I'm definitely going Washington over the Giants. And, I'll give the Giants a little bit of credit. Victor Cruz finally got to do the salsa dance thingy, even though he hasn't done it almost a year. Yeah, finally. It's been almost a year since he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
So, they looked a lot better. And the Texans, I mean, I know that their first couple of games they played weren't against marquee opponents, but the Texans' defense was looking really good going into the Meadowlands, And so you got to give the Giants a little bit of credit. They did beat.
Yeah. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think this is going to be a blow up by any stretch. I'm going with Washington.
You see, the thing is Ryan Fitzpatrick was like, I'm playing at the Meadowlands, so I got to do what Eli Manning does there and throw 3 Andersons. So that's where they screwed up, and so that's why I'm going with the Redskins because Eli Manning. So we move on to Packers at Bears. Who you taking, Mikey boy?
I'm taking Green Bay. I heard a statistic, or I heard something over the last couple of years that the Green Bay Packers in the last two seasons started off 1-2, just like they did this year, and it caught me by surprise. I can't remember who they lost to last year and the year before to start their seasons, but I think that they own the Bears in general. They're a much better team than this, and I know their defense is a little shaky, but I think that they're going to have a perfectly good game plan going against Chicago, and I see them pulling out this W. I'd be stunned if they start 1-3. They're too good.
I remember last year they started out 0-1 to the 49ers. I know that was their first loss for sure, and then they lost to the Bears when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. That was, I think, how they started 1-2. If I remember correctly. Of course, I'm going with my boys. I'm going with the Packers. Now, the Packers need to start out strong this game. Every game they played this year, they've already played from behind. Their offense, Mike, right now they're the 28th worst offense in football.
Yeah, but do you think that's what their offense is? Don't you think they're much better than that?
Yeah, Eddie Lacy, he's only averaging like 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a touchdown yet. He doesn't even have, I think, 100 yards on the season. I mean, they haven't really got him going yet whatsoever. They were the wide receivers, with Adams and Boykin, those two guys who, obviously were trying to replace James Jones. You got Jordy Nelson, who didn't have much of a week last week. He destroyed the week before against the Jets. And, I mean, you still got Randall Cobb. I mean, their offense, they've been playing from behind so much. I mean, take, for their example, their first game at Lambeau against the Jets. Right away, they were down 18 points, like real quick. And then they had to come back, and, they beat the Jets, as they should, a great come-from-behind win. But, then you go to Seattle, they got shut down. I mean, Eddie Lacy had a couple of good runs right at the beginning, and then Seattle's defense took over, and they ended up getting blown out. It was a laugher towards the end of it. And then they go to the Lions. Second snap from scrimmage from the Packers, Eddie Lacy fumbles it. I mean, the Lions' defense beat the Packers alone in points. They scored 9 points. So the Packers, their offense just has not had that click from the word go, from the first drive on. They've been playing from behind a lot. Their defense has forced some turnovers this year, which is a great sign because they didn't force many last year. Peppers and Matthews was hurt. He didn't play the last couple of quarters against Detroit. And, Peppers and Matthews really hasn't had a chance to do their thing yet, because their defense has been okay. Brad Jones is terrible. But, Clinton Dix has looked good. Tremont Williams has looked good. Sam Shields has looked good. So, but, when you see the Packers with the 28th offense with Aaron Rodgers in football, and with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, it's not going to stay. The defense is the 20th ranked defense. The Bears are the 23rd, so they're about even there. They got the 21st best passing offense in the NFL. Right now, the Bears have the 14th, and they got the 26th worst rushing offense. And the Bears actually have the worst in the league right now. So that right now, neither team is playing pretty good, even though the Bears are currently sitting at 2-1. But the Packers just need to come out strong. Because they had like, for example, one of the last drives of the game. Rodgers comes out and he gets on a tear, but then the Lions stop him on a 4th and 5 when they're down 2 scores, and that was it. I mean, they just couldn't get anything going, and with key drop passes by Adams and no Eddie Lacy, running very well, and James Starks, they've just been kind of like meh, offensively wise, but they're going to have a game, and Aaron Rodgers has destroyed the Bears in his career for the most part. They're going to have that game where they come out strong, and I think this is going to be the game they do it, and this is going to be the game, where the Bears only have the 23rd best defense in the NFL. I think Eddie Lacy's finally going to have a decent game, and, they basically just need to stop playing from behind all the time and have a good game and they start out strong. So I'm taking the Packers. All right, Mike, Bills at Texans. Who you taking?
Well, I made my picks already, but I got to look at who I decided to go with this game because this is another game where I can consider going with Buffalo. I like the Bills. I don't think they're a playoff team by any stretch, but I certainly don't believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know the game is at Houston, and I'm going to pick the Texans going with them. I think they will bounce back after the loss against New York, but they're not a very good team in my opinion, and I don't think the Bills are a very bad team. I think they're improving. The last couple of years they're getting better. I like E.J. Manuel. He's okay. I don't think he's great, but I think he's probably the second best quarterback in that division behind Tom Brady. So I like Sammy Watkins. I like a lot what the Bills are doing, and it wouldn't surprise me if they win, but I'm going to go with the home team and choose the Texans.
Look at you. Well, guess what? The Bills, you're absolutely correct. The Bills, when they bounced the Bears in the first week and had that nice upset win, they kind of I was like, wow, maybe this team is okay, and then to start out 2-1. I mean, I remember that one year them and the Lions both started out 5-0. I think it was like 2011, I want to say, and then
Might
they
have been,
were
yeah. I think that was Fitzpatrick's big year.
yeah when they ended up giving that contract extension
Yeah.
like a bunch of morons. You know, I mean they played good, and I mean I almost they played good enough to where I almost want to pick them on the road. But in their defense too, believe it or not, the Bills have the 13th or the 15th best defense in football. I mean, they're middle of the pack, but they've been a lot better. And they got, C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson, both were really good. They got the 11th best rushing offense in the NFL. But the Texans right now, they got the 25th best defense, but they got the 5th best rushing offense in the NFL right now. Arian Foster, he's hurt. I forget who replaced him, but Blue is his name. He replaced him. He's done a good job stepping in for Arian Foster, even though I think Arian Foster might play this week. I'm not sure. But the Bills, the way their defense has been, we got Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller, it almost makes me go, something, I think they could upset the Texans on the road. But I'm going with the Texans because I saw how they played week 1 at home against, oh my God, who did they play? They played, they upset them. The Redskins. They played the Redskins at home week 1, and they destroyed RG3.
Oh, yeah.
J.J. Watt, he's just a beast. He is just a beast. And that defense, I know they're only the 25th best defense, but that pass rush is nasty, especially with him and brushing. I like that team a lot. And they only had Jadeveon Clowney on their squad yet either. He's still hurt. So I'm going to take the Texans at home. So
Great minds think alike. I think we're 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Titans at Colts. Who you taking?
Indianapolis, hands down, team coming off a great win in Jacksonville. I mean, right when it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I saw that Andrew Luck already had my fantasy team with 20 points. So
He had 4 touchdowns, right?
yeah, he had an awesome game. Again, Jacksonville sucks, but I don't think Tennessee's a very good team. I like the addition the Titans had bringing in the head coach Ken Wisenhunt, but I'm sorry, I'm not picking against Andrew Luck. The Colts are the superior team in this matchup. I think it's in Indianapolis. They already lost once there in Indy. I don't see them losing this game. They're a much better team. It's an easy one for me.
The Colts could very well be 3-0 right now. I mean,
Oh,
they had to play Peyton on opening night. And Andrew Luck gave Peyton a run for his money there at the end. It wasn't a very competitive game, and then Andrew Luck just started, pulling some Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is, Mike Trout is my man crush in baseball. Andrew Luck, besides my boy Clay Matthews and Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck is my man crush in football. I love Andrew Luck. I think he is going to be the premier best quarterback in the NFL within the next 3 seasons. I love everything about him, his demeanor, his pocket presence, the way he can lead a team, his arm, his accuracy. He is a great, great, great young quarterback. And they could very well be 3-0 right now. They lose to Peyton. They lose to the Eagles on a game they should have won. But then they destroy Jacksonville. No doubt Indy is taking this game. No question about it. All right, Mikey boy. Panthers at Ravens. Who you got?
Tough one. Both teams aren't really that impressive. I took Carolina in my pool, but again, that was a pick'em game for me just because Carolina has issues offensively. Cam Newton really doesn't have anybody to throw to for the most part on the offensive end, and he can only do
Benjamin, Mikey boy.
Well, besides him, who? Who else besides him?
Calvin Benjamin and Greg Olsen. Look at Greg Olsen.
Well,
my boys had a good year so far.
I'm still not seeing a whole lot there offensively from Carolina. Their defense is still pretty strong. And the way Baltimore's played, they haven't impressed me much. I mean, they squeaked out a win against Cleveland. They should have lost that game. They could very well be 1-2 on the year. I took Carolina because I don't think Baltimore is that good. Even though Baltimore is at home, I'm still going to go with the Panthers. But again, this has been a tough week for picks. You could really make a case for either team, especially in this matchup. I'm going with the Panthers.
Mikey boy, Carolina has the 10th best pass offense in the NFL this year. So, between Derek Anderson and Cam Newton, they've been getting it done. Because my boy Calvin Benjamin on my fantasy squad, he's been insane.
Isn't it Kelvin Benjamin?
Calvin Benjamin, yes.
All right, I thought you said Calvin. My bad.
No, not Calvin. Even though you look at the way that guy makes catches in traffic, and with his huge frame, he has a lot of Calvin Johnson in him.
Oh, man, that's quite. I don't know if you want to start throwing that far, but okay.
Go watch some of his catches he's made this year. Watch him go above corners. His big leap, his ability to make catches with corners draped on him. Watch some of them. The way he goes in the middle of the field, he has some Calvin Johnson in him. He's a great looking. I'm just saying. I'm not just saying it either because he's on my fantasy squad. He is a great looking young receiver. But And anyways, I have to go with Baltimore because last time I bet against Baltimore when they were at home, they played Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh got shit on. I don't think Joe Flacco's a good quarterback. I don't think the Ravens are that great of a team, to be honest with you. Joe Flacco, he looked like crap against Cleveland in week 1. He really did. Then they beat Pittsburgh. So I'm gonna go with Baltimore simply for the fact because they're playing at home and Joe Cool for some reason plays good in Baltimore. So Carolina too. It's like Cam Newton ended up getting taken out of the game for Derek Anderson towards the end of that game on Sunday Night Football last week. So their defense is good. Greg Hardy's not gonna play, but they still played well. I don't know. I mean, as long as Benjamin does good, my fantasy team gets points, I don't really care. But I'm going to take Baltimore just simply for the fact they're at home. Carolina could very well win this game because they do have a good squad. And Cam Newton just looked really out of sync all night. They had a hard time scoring. So I'm going to take Baltimore, though. So I'm going to pick against you.
That's fine. Just quickly, though, on the Baltimore thing. They played against Cincinnati, I believe, at home week 1, and Cincinnati shut them down. So I don't think the home
field
has anything to do with it.
Yeah. I said Cleveland. My mistake.
That's all right. Shake it off. No big deal, John.
My bad. But yeah, they played Cincinnati.
Same state.
He looked terrible. All right, Mikey boy. We're going to stay in the New York area. The Jets versus the Lions. The Lions are visiting your Meadowlands. So who are you taking?
I'm taking Detroit. This team, I think the Jets could pull this one out. I mean, they're at home, and Detroit, excuse me. Detroit seems like a team to me that just is a letdown team. I mean, they have so much talent. They've had so much talent for the last few years. I think they won. Well, how many games did they win last year? Were they 500? Below 500? I don't know. But they're much better than their record has shown the last couple of years. And they're 2-1. They just had a big win against Green Bay. The odds say they should win, and I'm picking the Lions. But it would not stun me one bit to see the Jets get back to 500 and knock Detroit back to 500 in the same way. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose. I really wouldn't. They're a loser. They're losers. They're a losing team. That's what they do. But I'm picking the Lions, despite all of that.
As much as it pains me to say this, because I hate the fucking Lions, I gotta take Detroit because there's something I've noticed this year about this year's Lions that is a lot different about Jim Schwartz's Lions. So I used to call him Jim Shorts. No one could ever tell the difference when I called him Jim Shorts. And they're like, oh yeah, Jim Shorts. He's a Lions coach. Yeah, but I have to take the Lions. Here's one of the big differences. Last year, the Lions, they would make big plays and get big gains, but they were one of the most penalized teams in football. If this was a Jim Schwartz coach Lions squad that faced Green Bay, they wouldn't have won that game because they had some kind of stupid penalty. I can remember a game last year the Lions played at home, and one of their corners made a pick. I don't know who it is because they go through 75 corners a season because they can never have a healthy cornerback on that team. And Ndamukong Suh takes out a guy who was 30 yards away from the cornerback returning the ball, which would have been a pick six, and he got a freaking illegal block in the back penalty because it was stupid stuff like that, or like, for example, when he stomped on Evan Dietrich Smith, when he got ejected from the game. It was stupid penalties like that the Lions committed. But the way they shut down Aaron Rodgers, the way they constantly got to him, Nick Fairley looks a lot better this year. Ndamukong Suh was in Aaron Rodgers' face a lot. DeAndre Levy, he was in Aaron Rodgers' face a lot. I mean, I know they're losing Stephen Tulloch because he's an idiot and tried to do the Aaron Rodgers discount double check thing and ended up tearing his ACL. Serves you right, you jackass. And he's gone for the season. But, Ziggy Ansah's look good. So, I mean, I'm going to go with Detroit because I honestly don't think Geno Smith's that, the Jets are that great. Geno Smith is an okay quarterback. He's a young guy still learning. But the way they went out in that last drive, burned 7 minutes, got huge first downs, didn't commit any penalties, a couple of bad picks, even though that second pick was practically like a perfectly placed punt. The Lions got a safety off it anyways. So it didn't really come back to bite him in the ass. And on top, you got Calvin Johnson, and Golden Tate hasn't done really too much yet this season, but you still got him as a weapon. And you still got Eric Ebron and Tony, Foria, and you still got Joik Bell and whatnot. So, I mean, they got some nice players.
I still think they're a dumb team. I mean, you've watched them more recently. Obviously, they played Green Bay last week, but in Week 1, they committed some dumb penalties against the Giants. Offensive face masks, a couple of pass interferences. I'm trying to remember any really dumb plays. I can't off the top of my head, but just they had a fair share of penalties. Go back. I recommend going back and looking at the Week 1 penalties by the Lions against New York. They're still a dumb team.
Well, you watched their last 2 weeks, though. They've been, especially last.
Maybe they have improved. Maybe they have.
I'm telling you, Mike, especially this past week against the Packers, that final drive when they burned the last 7 minutes, when that was a Jim Schwartz coach team, they would have committed some kind of stupid penalty. And the way they were able to run the ball out, the way they were able to stop, in my opinion, top 2 quarterback in the NFL, the way they did. I'm not drinking the Lions Kool-Aid because I hate the Lions. I really do. I wish they lose every game because I hate Lions fans because they start out when they win a game, they think their team's going to the Super Bowl then because they only go to the playoffs once every 15 years. But they just really impressed me. The demeanor of the team is different. The way they ran out the game, how they handled the game, their defense. And it doesn't hurt. We got CJ and Golden Tate, and they just got a good team, and I think they're better than the Jets, and I think they could go into the Meadowlands and upset the Jets. So I'm going to take the Lions over the Jets, and it's going to suck because the Lions win. They're going to be 3-1, and they'll be first place, and just fuck. So next game, Buccaneers at Steelers. This is a hard one.
Oh yeah. Here's my analysis. Pittsburgh.
Here's my analysis. I agree. Next game. Dolphins at Raiders. Who you taking?
Wow. This game's interesting. I don't know if it's been reported, but I don't know if Tannehill's starting the game.
I think Moore is starting.
Matt Moore's getting the start? Not the lefty for the Rays. The other Matt Moore. Yeah, I'm going with Miami. I know it's a West Coast game, but the Oakland Raiders suck. I think in the last 10 years, since the game against New England, the playoff game in 2001, the Tuck Rule game, the Oakland Raiders have a winning percentage of just over 250.
Really?
It's that bad. It is that bad. So if you pick the Raiders, you're an idiot. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Well, guess what, Mikey? I'm picking the Raiders. You know why? Because after the Dolphins upset the Patriots in Week 1 and their defense looked great and all that kind of stuff, Tannehill's been bleh, and I had him starting one. I had Tannehill start the week Phillip Rivers dropped 29 points, and he beat Seattle. So I'll never make that mistake again because Tannehill had a good week 1. But you know something? Oakland has had to play a lot of East Coast games already. They've already had to go out to the East Coast twice in the first 3 weeks. So I am taking the Raiders because I think they're going to beat the Dolphins that don't have Tannehill, who, they're just blah. I don't really find it. I thought the Dolphins were like, wow, I watched them first week against Tom Brady. I'm like, God damn, they're a good-looking squad. They do have the 9th best defense in the NFL right now, the Dolphins do, but the Raiders got the 12th. And both of these teams, really, they've struggled a lot. I mean, Miami's run the ball good. They have the 7th best rushing offense, but they have the 29th best passing offense. And the Raiders have the worst offense so far in the NFL. Because they got Derek Carr. But this is the week. I think the Raiders come out. They get off the schneid. They beat the Dolphins. I'm taking the Raiders. Now, this game is actually in London. So, hopefully, that's not East Coast. It's East Coast. So, hopefully, the Raiders' East Coast woes don't keep striking them.
I didn't even know that. They're playing the game in London. Wow. So, I take that back.
Raiders,
sorry about that.
Mike, the last 13 games the Raiders have played on the East Coast, they are 0-13 in. So, yeah. But they're in Wembley. It's good. It's good. It don't even matter. All right, here's an easy game. Jaguars or Chargers. Who you got? Let's hear your.
San Diego. San Diego. They look like a serious team this year. I mean, I don't know. They could be a legitimate playoff team. Certainly not going to win the division. I think that division is too tough. But they're good. I like their coach. I think he's one of the up and coming good coaches in the league. Phillip Rivers seems to be, like he usually is, maybe a little bit better this year, and they're always decent. Yeah, I mean, they're always a decent team, but yeah, I like what I'm seeing so far from San Diego. I thought that last week was an ultimate test for them because they went to Buffalo. It was on the East Coast. This is a team that I think coming off a big win week 2, excuse me, sorry about my voice. I expected them to lose. I thought it was a trap game in Buffalo, and they came out, played well. I see them carrying that momentum in week 4 and picking up another W.
After you beat Seattle, how you beat Seattle?
Yeah, that's who their one was against. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and then you beat Buffalo in Buffalo, a team that was 2-0 to that point. I'm sorry, it's the Chargers every day, all day, twice on Sunday. And I know Blake Bortles is finally getting the start for the Jaguars. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they're no shot. I'm sorry, you're 0-4 Jags. So next game, Eagles at 49ers. Who you taking?
Wow, this is going to be a great game to watch. I'm taking San Francisco because I think this is a must-win game for them. I truly do. I think if they fall to a 1-3 record, given the way that Seattle's looked, Arizona's played great. I'm sorry. I think that they need to win. They need to win this game against Philadelphia. Is it in Philly or in San Francisco?
It's in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose this one, I think this will be their second straight loss at home in their new building. I like the preparation of Jim Harbaugh. I think the team's still a very good one. I see them pulling it out. I really do. I don't think Philly's going to go 4-0. No way.
I am going with how my boy the Zompster says, how about those birds, baby? I'm going with the Eagles.
Fly
I
Eagles
have
fly.
to. I have to. You know, that team, they've been dropping a boatload of points. They can win shootouts. You know, they've beaten the Colts. They've beaten the Redskins. And they've been the cardiac kids. Let's not say like they've been dominating these teams they play. I mean, it's been close games down to the wire. I mean, they were down 17-0 to the Jags week 1, and they come back and win. So, I mean, they've been like, haven't been dominating, but you got Nick Foles, LaShawn McCoy, you know, and you know their defense has been pretty shitty too. They got the 29th worst defense in football, the 26th worst defense, but they got the 6th best offense, the 2nd best passing defense, the 19th best rushing offense. So I don't trust San Francisco very much at all. I really, really don't. I think they're an overrated team. I don't think they're nearly the team they were a few years ago. And when you have that kind of team that the Philly has, and I know you don't want to keep constantly playing from behind every week and keep coming from behind like they have, but I'm sorry. They've beaten really good teams so far to start this year. I mean, I can't pick against the Eagles. I'm riding them out till they lose. So expect me to pick Philly a lot because I like Nick Foles a boatload. So you're going to have E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. And my boy, Eat That Pussy 445 is going to be on here. His name's Joseph Zamparelli. And every week he comes on here. He always goes, how about them birds, baby? And I don't even like the Eagles. I just like watching him say that. I don't know why. All right, so we move on to a next game. And this game is so tough, Mike. Teddy Bridgewater is probably making his debut against the Falcons. This might alter your opinion about this game.
It didn't. I'm taking the Falcons. I hope that was sarcasm.
You're fucking crazy, Mike. The Falcons are in Minnesota, okay, against Teddy Bridgewater. The Falcons are totally knocked out of the Vikings. Next game, Saints at Cowboys. This game was really hard. I want to see what you got to say.
What? I'm sorry. I'm taking New Orleans by a landslide. I will say this about the Saints. On the road, I don't usually pick the Saints, but they're playing in a dome. The biggest problem I have with the Saints is when they're playing outdoors. It seems like Drew Brees is a completely different quarterback in those elements, being in outside, not being in the dome, the Superdome, where he plays 8 home games a year. But he's playing in Jerry World. I see this game, high-scoring game, and I'm picking New Orleans, hands down. Dallas had a great comeback win against St. Louis last week, but they can't keep turning the ball over. DeMarco Murray fumbles the ball in the first drive every game so far this week. Tony Romo has his fair share of interceptions. The Cowboys' defense sucks. I really don't see how you can make a case for the Cowboys, and I hope you don't.
Well, the Cowboys almost lost to St. Louis, so that right then and there makes me not want to pick them. They beat Tennessee, which kind of surprised me, and they got absolutely smoked by the 49ers week 1. So I got to go with the Saints, but the Saints, I'm not picking them because I think they're much better than the Cowboys. I mean, they got Drew Brees. That's why they're where they're at. They even got to win. I mean, he got out offense by Matty Ice week 1. They lose to the Browns. So I don't really think the Saints are that great of a ball club, honestly. I really don't. I'm not impressed by them, and they only have where they are because you got Matty Ryan throwing the ball. 4th best offense, 5th best passing offense, 6th best rushing offense, and the 24th worst defense. So, I mean, they have not impressed me whatsoever, and I don't think they're an extremely good club. I think they're a lot like the Packers were the last couple of years where Aaron Rodgers carries them, offensively wise, and their defense suffers terribly. So, you take Drew Brees out from this squad, they're not even winning 6 games. Let's be honest here. So I'm not picking this. I'm picking the Saints, but only because I think they're a little bit better than the Cowboys, and it's because they got Drew Brees. And you're right, they're playing in a dome because Drew Brees is not great when he plays outdoors. So
yeah, just ask the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks in 2010.
Exactly. All right, last game of Week 4, Patriots at Chiefs. Who you taking?
I'm taking New England, but I think this is going to be a close game, and I wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City wins. Number one, they're playing in Arrowhead, very difficult place to play for visiting teams. Very loud in that building. Both offensive lines suck, and I think that I think both defenses are going to have success in this game. I think the better defense is New England, and I like Tom Brady more than Alex Smith, so I'm going to go with the Patriots. But again, tough week picking games this week. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kansas City takes down New England, but I'm going to go with the Patriots.
The Patriots have the 3rd best defense in the NFL so far?
Fantasy team defense, 28 points last week.
but they have the 27th worst passing offense and the 26th worst offense overall. It's kind
Yeah,
of great.
look at their offensive line.
Tom Brady, like, he's like not even a top 20 quarterback in yards this year so far. It's kind of crazy. So, but they're still winning ball games. I mean, their defense has been absolutely outstanding. And I'm gonna move my take on Tom Brady or Alex Smith. Oh, I'll put Tom Brady every single time. I'm sorry. So all I need is Jamal Charles to come back. So he's on my fantasy squad this week. No high ankle sprains. Clean game. Give me a hundy with a touchdown, and I'll be happy. So I'm taking the Patriots. So we had almost all the same picks. I think the only ones we deferred on was you took 49ers, I took the Eagles, and then I took the Raiders and you took Miami. Other than that, we agreed on every single one of them. So this was our first week of Inside the Huddle, or Week 4 picks. We'll be back for Week 5 next Wednesday night because we're going to do it before the Thursday Night Football games. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Mike, got anything to add?
There's no retirement ceremonies we have to honor, right?
James Harrison is coming back out of retirement. He's pulling his best Brett Favre. So, yeah.
Oh, and Roger Goodell's got to be out. That's where I'll end it.
Oh yeah, Roger Goodell. That's a messed up situation right there. That is for sure. So that's all I got for you guys today. As always, I'm John Check. That's Mike Hewitt. Hope you guys enjoyed Inside the Huddle, the first edition of it. Tell me what you think. You like it? Dislike it? Honestly, if you don't like football channels on here or football videos on here, I don't care. It's my channel. So have a good one, guys.